Hello guys, and welcome back to another video about Final Fantasy VII. Today I will be talking about my top 5 picks of emotional moments in Final Fantasy VII, and as usual, there will be spoilers. As most of you already know, number 1 will be reserved for a very iconic moment that had such implications that it's almost impossible to put it at any other spot. I want to start by saying that this is a subjective list, and that how I view these moments might be different from how other people view them. I might be off on some places, and I encourage you to give me your personal list in the comment section below and to tell me how they affect you. Starting off with number 5, the story of Zack. Zack is an NPC with not too much screen time in the original Final Fantasy VII, and the conclusion to his story arc is optional and has to be triggered very late in the game. By this point you've already learned that some of Cloud's memories are those of Zack. Zack was the soldier first class as well as the original one assigned to the mission in Nibelheim, while Cloud tagged along as an infantryman. By this point, we also know that Zack used to be Aerith's boyfriend, and that his parents are from Gongaga. However, you haven't heard anything of what became of him after the Nibelheim incident, where he supposedly got wounded by Sephiroth. It turns out that after the events in the reactor, Professor Hojo took both the bodies of Zack and Cloud and kept them for his own experiments. This is where Cloud got injected with Genova cells, causing his body's massive trauma. Zack manages to escape and he brings Cloud with him, even though he's still traumatized to the point of not being able to speak or walk. Decides to head for Midgar and start a new life outside of Soldier. This is the first time in the game you get to really see how warm-hearted Zack really is, and he never leaves his friend's side. The easy thing for him would be to just ditch Cloud and escape faster while traveling alone. Instead, he managed to find a lift so that it's possible for both of them to head to Midgard together. On the way, Zack discusses his dreams with Cloud, as well as his potential reunion with Aerith. However, once outside Midgard, Zack gets killed by soldiers while attempting to protect Cloud. And who knows, if Zack wasn't such a nice dude and tried to save Cloud, he might have been alive. Unfortunately, instead, Zack's story ends here. The part here that personally affects me the most is the guilt Cloud carries for the fact that this might have been true. Zack might have been alive if he didn't choose to save Cloud. I can also imagine the added psychological pain that comes with watching your friend die without being able to move your body and help him. The reason this isn't lower on the list is because it's optional, and that we don't know too much about Zack up until this point. If you do, however, play Crisis Core after this, you will instead be fed a real tearjerker. But as we're talking about the original game here, I cannot put this ahead of the following moments. Number 4, the Fall of Avalanche. This happens in Midgard during Disc 1, after you escape the sewers with a party consisting of Tifa, Aerith and Cloud. The story behind the situation is that Shinra is trying to blow up Sector 7 with the intention of both killing Avalanche while framing them for the bombing. To do this, Shinra rigged a bomb on top of a carrying pillar in the sector. Barrett shows up before we do to stop the bomb, together with Biggs, Wedge, as well as Jessie, who are some of the more important NPCs that we've met so far. Once Cloud and his party gets there, the first thing they see is Wedge falling off the tower, getting badly injured. Cloud and Tifa instruct Aerith to look after Wedge, as well as picking up Barrett's daughter Marlene and put her somewhere safe. On the way up we see another familiar face, namely Biggs. Wounded and hurt, he looks up to you and asks you if you really care about the planet. You can either go for a cold answer, that is not interested, or you can acknowledge that he's wounded. If you choose the second option, Biggs will ask you not to worry about him, but to help Barrett. At this stage, you don't have any real perspective on the situation, and have no real clue if any characters really could die. When you're at the top and you meet a gravely wounded Jessie, she says that she is happy to speak to you one last time. You once again get to choose between acting cold and caring. If you choose the carrying option, you will say that it isn't the last time. She will answer that it's okay, and that they might deserve to die, since they killed many people in the name of their cause. This is actually one of the few times the game actually points out that Avalanche is basically eco-terrorists, and that the casualties of their actions might make what they're doing questionable. The whole sequence ends with a fight on top of the tower, where we reunite with Barrett fighting Reno. The party finds out there is no way disabling the bomb, and the heroes manage to escape the explosion by swinging from a wire. The others behind were not so lucky. Once out, you get to see what is really at stake, as Barrett breaks apart in sadness of his fallen friends and the potential loss of his daughter. To even try to personally understand the pain here is really hard, and even if you might have just started playing the game, Biggs, Wedge and especially Jessie have been very nice and welcoming to you, and you cannot help it but feeling sad about it. A great scene that really shows what's at stake. Lives can be lost in this game. Number 3. Barrett and Dine. When you first reach Golden Saucer, you get to hear about a man with a gun arm that has been killing people. As Barrett up to this point is the only man that fits this description, the party gets captured by Dio, who sends everyone to a top-secret desert prison just outside Coral. This is when Barrett tells everyone about the time when he and his best friend Dine both lost an arm, as they were getting chased by Shinra trying to save their village and their loved ones. Unfortunately, instead of saving anyone, Dine fell down a ravine, while Barrett was left wounded. Both of their families, as well as Barrett's wife Myrna, were slaughtered in cold blood. Everyone, except Dine's daughter Marlene. We go look for Dine inside of the prison and we find him at the junkyard. Dine is however a changed man now. He hears voices and shoots randomly with his gun arm, and he blames Barrett for the loss of their village. As we know by this moment, Barrett has been taking care of Marlene and raising her as his own daughter. But when Barrett tells this to Dine, instead of being happy, he coldly tells Barrett that he wants to reunite Marlene with her mother through killing her. I feel the words here bring chills down my spine, more than anything else in the game. Not because Dine is the most powerful nor dangerous boss, but since his narrative is just far too realistic and cold. This leads to a special boss battle with only Barrett participating instead of a full party. After the battle, Dine tells Barrett that he is lost and that there's no longer a way back for him. Marlene was too young to remember him, and he have done far too many atrocious things in his grief. After this, Dine kills himself, leaving Barrett as the one taking care of Marlene in the future. This leaves Barrett flustered and sad, as he, just as Dine, have a lot of blood on his hands. As I finished this the first time, I wasn't left with either sadness or anger. Instead, I felt impacted in a different way. My thoughts went to what I would do if a tragedy like this ever happened to me. Would I be able to live on like normal? Or would I, just like Dine, be a shell of my former self, not knowing if I would ever care about anything anymore? And this is when I realized that what I was feeling was fear. A fear scarier than any monster. The fear of losing everyone and everything while being left alone. Fear that makes you grateful for those around you and those who love you. And guys, remember to tell them. Number 2. Nanaki learns the truth about Seto. Okay, so the next moment triggers at the end of the first time you get to Cosmo Canyon, when Red learns the truth about his father. Red 13, or Nanaki as we learned that his real name is, has lived his life believing his father ran away, leaving him and his mother when a tribe called Gi attacked the canyon. Believing his father was a coward, Red developed a lot of hate towards him. Bugenhagen, who has been taking care of Red since his mom passed away, brings the party to see what really happened to Nanaki's father. The party goes through a tunnel that was sealed to keep the canyon safe, down to a cavern, where after some fighting against spiders and undead, find a statue of a lion-like creature, pierced by spears. Bugenhagen tells us that this is Seto, Red's father. Red's father had turned into stone protecting the ones he loved, while pierced by many spears from the Gi tribe. As a person who grew up with a stepdad, whom I had a bad connection with, and a dad that was not really there when I grew up, this scene hit me hard. To find out that a father was there for his kids all along, and that he sacrificed everything for them, is beautiful. And I know that many, including me, will look at this with a longing of jealousy, that we could have found this out about our fathers too. The moment reaches its climax as Red howls in sadness towards his father's petrified body, and we can see tears falling down from his father's eyes. Tears from a father proud of his son. And to be honest, at this moment in the game, Seto wasn't the only one crying, as I did it too. Before we go on with the obvious number 1, let us talk about some honorable mentions. Starting off with Vincent's backstory. This is a very sad story about how Vincent got screwed over in the name of science. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the impact that it could have had, as neither Lucretia nor Vincent have enough screen time for us to be invested. More than anything else, it just makes us hate Hojo, which most of us already did at this stage of the game. Cloud's memories and the death of Nibelheim. This scene has the potential to have so much more impact than it currently has. Sephiroth burning the town as well as killing all the people is iconic, yet we never really get the grasp of the impact of it. Who died and who survived? Who actually lived in the town outside Cloud and Tifa? How come we don't hear anything about Cloud's family after this? Most likely, Sephiroth is the one who killed Cloud's mother, and as far as I know, no one mentioned this in the game, and it would have given Cloud more reason to follow Sephiroth in the beginning. Okay guys, it's time for number 1, and we already know that it's the death of Aerith. So is anyone surprised? This moment is one of the most iconic and sad moments in video game history. The first time I played the game, I got this spoiled to me, but it still managed to strongly affect me. The moment itself is very loaded, as it starts off with Aerith running away from the party, following Cloud attacking her and not being able to control himself. This all happened in the events after the Temple of the Ancients. The party tracks her down, and as we find her praying to activate the holy materia, Cloud is filled with regret, and he wants to say sorry. But as he steps closer, he once again has the urge to kill her. This time Cloud stops himself, and when he put down his sword, an avatar of Sephiroth drops down from the ceiling, stabbing her to death. And just like that, she's gone. What makes this moment so real and relatable is the fact that there are no last words. Cloud have no chance to ask for forgiveness, no time to tell her about how he felt for her. And this is usually how it is when someone you know dies. Rarely do you have a chance to say goodbye for real. They are just gone. We all wish we could have those moments to tell the people that we love how we really feel about them. But instead, we are left with emptiness, with only memories left. This makes this a very emotional moment for all of us who have ever said goodbye to someone, and another reminder to tell people how much you cherish them when they're alive. I actually had a hard time making this video as I struggled to put words into my own emotions. Did I miss any moment? Which one was your most emotional moment in the game? And what did I miss out on? Please write in the comments section and subscribe for more content like this. Personally, I will go to tell my family how much they mean to me, since I reminded myself that you cannot show people too much love. Until next time, hej då!